Oh my god, I really didn't think this book was gonna crack me. I'm just trying to brace for impact. I am struggling with this book. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Guys, I have been MIA for the past 2 weeks. I don't think you guys felt it because of pre-filmed content. Hallelujah. I was the sickest I've ever been. Admittedly, I'm still in the process of recovering, so we have some catching up to do, but first, welcome to this vlog. I'm really excited to be starting this, as you can tell by the thumbnail, hopefully. For the entire month of June, we're gonna be reading nothing but Romantasy. I haven't done this in a really long time. This is like a treat for myself for getting better. So if you like Romantasy and maybe are looking for some book recommendations, I hope you can settle in and get cozy because this vlog isn't gonna end until the end of the month. But before we start our next read, I need to catch you guys up on the last 2 books that I have read already for the month of June. It's currently June 13 that I'm starting this, so we are already 2 books in, and the first book that I finished is none other than The Night Prince. Yes, guys, I am so upset that I wasn't able to read any of this on camera, especially given how hyped up I've been about picking this up and reading it. All my last vlog was all about trying to get in the right headspace to continue this series, and then I fell ill and accidentally ended up trauma bonding to this book. I was having fevers for an entire week straight and fever dreams, and you know what? So was our FMC. So this felt incredibly immersive to read. If you know, you know. But this absolutely was 5 stars, dare I say even 6 stars, because this put me in such a crazy book hangover after finishing this. I really love the character development of our FMC, especially by the time you reach the end of this book. And you know I'm down bad whenever I go and make a custom Kindle skin in honor of the book or a book series, and that's exactly what I've done. So I'm gonna pop it up on the screen and just walk you guys through it, keeping it spoiler free, but this is for The Night Prince specifically. I could just as easily create one for the Wolf King. It would look very different. They're very different sides of a coin, but for The Night Prince, which is obviously the team that I'm on, hello, let's start with the background, shall we? It is a green and black tartan. Yeah. And along the edges, you guys will see the wolfbane flower peeking through. I did put the moon nestled in between a crescent moon, also a nod to the relationship between who the moon symbolizes and who the crescent moon symbolizes. It's in Gaelic. I'm not gonna try to say it. I'm gonna spare you guys. Right next to that is a very significant symbol that you find out about as you continue to read. It's also along the Night Prince sprayed edges. Beneath that is a cute sticker section, and in one we have Aurora Darling. Right next to it is 2 romance books that are mentioned so naturally. And then just slightly on top of that are apothecary bottles, because Blake is a healer. And we have a black wolf, kind of self-explanatory there. And then down at the bottom I do have a quote that says, "Tread carefully, little rabbit." And then beneath Little Rabbit I put a silver envelope opener, and the other half is a scalpel. And then on either side of that section there it says "Bite Bite." So that was the first book that I finished in June, and then after that decided to do a reread of Metal Slinger because Light Wielder came out. I did forget about some of the characters and how we ultimately got to that crazy plot twist. I also needed to get the vibe of our MMC again, especially going into the sequel and how crazy of a start I know that that is going to be. If you're looking for a Romantasy that is going to be unpredictable, this is it. If you haven't read it before, you are so lucky because the plot twist and cliffhanger that this book leaves you with is diabolical. So at least now you can go and pick up Light Wielder because it is officially out. And I actually went to a Light Wielder book event. Bestie Sarah got us tickets. It was so much fun. I really had to rally for it though because I was struggling. In the end, it was so worth it. Number one, Rachel Snyder is hilarious. I love a funny girl and she makes me laugh. She's incredibly down to earth and she will make time to talk to you, get to know you, at least for the book signings, which is really cool.
Metal Slinger was the first time that I allowed myself to write whatever I wanted. Like before, it was always like in the back of my mind, would someone want to read this? Well, does this sound better? And Metal Slinger was fully just what I thought I would want to read. So I think that that's really what set Metal Slinger apart from mine, because y'all, my trash folder is hefty. Metal Slinger sat in my trash folder for about 5 years.
She did personalize and sign my copy with dang rabbits. That's the best thing she could have ever put, honestly. And then was also so kind enough to sign my Metal Slinger copy as well. I'm so glad that I went. So this is actually the book that I'm currently reading. I'm gonna try my best to read as much of this on camera as possible, because the way that the discussion panel went really made it seem like this book is gonna be very shocking, polarizing, and it may not be what you think it's supposed to be or is going to be. There were two people interviewing Rachel Snyder, and both of them on stage had split opinions about the book, about the ending, and very strong opinions. It's gonna be interesting. I'm a little scared because with Rachel Snyder, you really just don't know what you're gonna get, and that is half the fun of reading her books, but at the same time, she's not afraid to hurt you. On that note, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee. I'm actually gonna try to make the jam jar coffee because I finally have eaten enough jam to do it. So let's make a coffee and get back into Light Wielder. That's so good. Yeah. This is what I'm always gonna do with my jam jars now. I put a little bit of honey on top of the jam. It's perfect. I love it. I forgot to mention that I'm already 18% into the book. I am on chapter 14, and wow. Let me just say, there's a 4-year time jump. When Rachel Snyder said we're going to war, she meant we're going to war. So it's been very hard to put this book down. The tension is so high. Everything that I thought was going to happen or where the story was going to pick up has just gone a completely different direction. I'm suddenly feeling differently about Acre, our MMC. There's new characters, there's old characters that I'm still waiting for them to pop up, because like, hello, you were kind of the whole reason why this happened, and so where are you? But I'm gonna continue on. This book has its claws in me. It's getting pretty heavy. My heart really goes out to Jovi. I couldn't imagine being in her shoes and coming to terms and facing head on the pain that you are directly responsible for in another person is just a very heavy thing to conquer. But I do think I have to stop right here because my kiddos just woke up from their nap, but I will be listening to the audiobook while I'm cooking dinner, so I'll see you guys then. Sorry, it's dark. It is actually 8:30 right now, and I didn't get to listen to that much of the audiobook because that is a very quick and easy recipe. So yeah, I'm only a chapter further in, which by the way is chapter 18. I'm actually kind of at the tail end of the chapter. I don't know, I'm just picking up this vibe or feeling that something's gonna happen that I'm not gonna like, and I'm just trying to brace for impact at this point. But I don't know why, I just had that feeling like nothing really has happened, but I definitely think that there is some foreshadowing that something will happen. I think we're approaching that, so we'll see. I've had a shower, I washed my hair. Let's see where the night takes us. Oh, we just learned something very shocking about Kai and Aurora, which I have pegged Aurora since the beginning of Metal Slinger as like, what is going on with this chick? Because she sounds very interesting, but we're getting just breadcrumbs. She's too intense of a character to just be left in the background, so I'm really curious. Also, this Frederick guy, how are we feeling about Frederick? Are we okay? Because I don't know what to think yet. I'm just confused, to be honest. Is anyone else feeling that way? All right, let's hop back in. Wait, I think it's happening. Whew, okay. False alarm for now. I just put the book down for a second because I've never felt so indifferent towards an MMC than I do with Acre. I really don't know if I'm rooting for them or if I want someone else to step up or what. It just feels so toxic, and that's not something I enjoy. Like, okay, I enjoyed the Magnolia Parks series. I have one book left until she releases the other one, but that's a little bit different. I think we can all agree there. I don't know, maybe she's like truly just trying to make it clear the enemies to lovers thing and building that back up again, maybe. I'm just not a huge fan of the MMC. I'm okay with a flawed MMC. Anyways, I don't know. I have my concerns. We're now at the 35% mark. Oh, and it's 9:30, so I should probably do myself a solid and get some sleep. But yeah, that's currently how I'm feeling, is just really indifferent to the entire story so far, which is bumming me out. But maybe she's really building up to something here. I still have some faith. I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys. Or not morning. It's like 12 o'clock. Good afternoon. Anyway, I'm trying to psych myself up to read because I read maybe like 2 chapters before going to bed. Nothing really is worth mentioning. However, I did listen to a little bit of it this morning and had to put the book down because I knew that I have reached the infamous chair scene. If you've read Metal Slinger, everyone knows there's a whiskey scene. In Lightwielder, it's been going around that this book has a chair scene. It's going to create a polarizing reaction. I'm not 100% sure what happens in this chair scene. However, I did go to bed last night thinking about it, hoping that the chair scene would not be the revenge thing, and it is shaping up to look like it is. I'm really hoping that I'm wrong, but here's the thing. If I'm being completely honest with myself and with you guys, I am struggling with this book, and I am so sad to even be saying that or admitting that because Lightwielder was one of my most anticipated releases of this year. I loved Metal Slinger, but the way that this storyline is going and how our characters are, I'm really struggling to feel anything for them. It's not a DNF, but I am struggling with it far more than I ever thought that I would be. I'm gonna read for a bit, so let's see what this chair scene is all about and just go from there. I'm going to be reading on my Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, Lightwielder is free to download. I am on chapter 25. Let's go. So the chair scene is over. Guys, I don't know how we ended up here, but if this was any other author, I would DNF at this point. It's just not coming together for me. It's just, it keeps getting worse, in my opinion. How can I convey my feelings without spoiling book 1 and without spoiling this book? I don't know if it's possible, but here's what I'll say. I've read my fair share of romantasy books, right? And obviously in fantasy worlds, fated mates are a thing. And the bond that ties the two together is always a prevalent part of the dynamic. However, in all of the books I have read, regardless of the bond, it has still felt very much like our FMC and MMC are meant to be together. The bond is just a confirmation of that. Like, you feel the chemistry and you feel the emotional connection between the two. This book, it just feels 100% like the only thing keeping these two characters together is the bond. and that's it. I almost want it to be taken away. It's gotten to a point where it's so toxic between the two that any amount of genuine emotional connection feels so small and little compared to the amount of hate and contention that these two people feel for one another. And their romance was so far back that it's hard to even remember what that felt like for those two characters. And I did a Metal Slinger reread so that I could feel the feels. But even doing that, I still don't. And just some of the things that Aker says is just giving me the ick, quite honestly. And listen, that might be intentional, and that's the only reason why I'm going to continue reading this book, because I'm gonna give Rachel Snyder the benefit of the doubt. I did really love Metal Slinger, and I am rooting for her so hard. I'm trying to trust the process that maybe this is intentional and maybe I'm supposed to feel this way. But I need answers right now because I cannot continue on with these feelings. It's becoming insufferable and I just can't. The chair scene is very polarizing, I would say. But we're gonna continue. We're gonna read on a little bit more and see if feelings change. Okay, I'm so glad I decided to read 2 more chapters because things just got interesting again. And so I think I'm back. Something else happened that was definitely not on my radar at all. And I don't know where the hell this story is going. It can go in any direction. I guess I'm seated for it. This is why DNFing books is so hard for me, because you just never know. Like, is it the right decision or not? I'm gonna keep reading, but I'm not gonna pop back in until I'm on the last 100 pages so we can finish it together and get my final thoughts. Hey guys. Yesterday I ended up pushing through Light Wielder. I finished it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I really hate giving bad reviews. I know I said I wasn't going to finish it and I was going to save the last 100 pages for you guys, but upon approaching those last 100 pages, it just wouldn't have been fun. My husband was watching me read it on the couch and he was like, wow, I've never seen anyone angry read a book before. And that has been my experience with Light Wielder. The start of it was okay. It was locking me in. I had good feelings about it, but soon after, things just really fell flat for me. I'm disappointed that we didn't pick up exactly where we left off. There is a 4-year time jump, but with it, it just doesn't feel like our characters have done any real character development within the span of those 4 years. And there's war that's happened within those 4 years, and war changes people. Not to say that there are no changes amongst our characters, but those changes really just felt more like a change of heart versus actual character development. From a romantasy standpoint, the romance was just not there. I feel like a lot of it was fueled by lust. Any scene between the two lacked any emotional depth. However, that being said, if you enjoyed Metal Slinger, I would still give this book a go. There are people out there who are rating this 4 and 5 stars. All right. Moving on to a clean slate. We're gonna pick and start our next romantasy book. Here are our options. I thought it would be fun to take all of these books, throw them into a spin wheel, and let that pick what my next read is gonna be. Let's see what the wheel has in mind for us. What? To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. Okay. This is fine. This will give me a taste for Sarah A. Parker's writing. I'm a little intimidated because she's a chunker, but the wheel has spoken, and so we're gonna do it. Now, the only thing I do know about To Bleed a Crystal Bloom is that it is a dark retelling of Rapunzel. Let's see how many pages she is, shall we? 505. That's not too bad for a fantasy. This would be our 4th book for June, and we are starting this on June 15th. So we're at a good point to introduce a chunky book. Let's go start it. That's how you write a prologue. I am so hooked. The writing is incredibly immersive. I feel like I'm instantly pulled into this scene. It's intense. It's sad. Like I could feel myself tearing up. Oh my god. I'm really excited to be reading this now. I feel like someone will have to tear this book away from me. Also, I can confirm this is dark. Like whenever they said this was a dark retelling of Rapunzel, they meant it. Good morning. It's actually been 3 days since I've last vlogged. Work has gotten really crazy and there's happy hour events, all good things, but definitely kept me busy. So I'm only 25% into To Bleed a Crystal Bloom, roughly about 120 pages, but I am hooked. I'm itching to just tear into this book. I'm loving the world that Sarah A. Parker is building. Like, what do you mean her best friend is a water drake? That is the most epic thing I've ever heard of. And there's other interesting creatures, like I think like a shadow wraith or something, and just the castle itself is very dark, mysterious, and genuinely feels like its own character. Also, our FMC, she has a very dark start and introduction, and subsequently there is a darkness to her character that is really intriguing. She's definitely not portraying a damsel in distress in any way. She's not afraid to ruffle feathers or break some rules, so she's been a really fun character. Also, the audiobook and the two narrators, they are so perfect for this book, for the characters, for the tone of the book. Any chance I get to immersive read, it is a peak experience. Anyways, it is Friday. I'm off today. We have lots of family coming into town, so it's also going to be a busy day, but super fun. I'm actually on my way to Whole Foods to pick up some drinks. That is my job for this get together, so let's go do that. Success, got the drinks. I am home now. I need to transfer everything to my other car, load the kids, and head out. It's a bit of a drive, so I'm gonna be able to listen to the audiobook. Baby's gonna sleep, and toddler is going to watch a movie. I'll check back in with you guys when I have a reading update. Welcome to Monday. It is 7:30. The boys are in bed. I'm in my comfies. I'm ready for bed, but we're not going to bed because I'm on the last 100 pages of To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. I have got to know how this ends. Things have definitely taken a turn. I have a theory about Orlaith. I hope that I'm able to get an answer by the end of this book. Things are getting very chaotic. We basically have two political proposals going on. We're in the middle of this war that is only getting nastier by the second, especially for the innocent town people. So let's see what happens. What a freaking journey. This was way darker than I anticipated. A lot of the other fantasies I've read, they kind of toe the line between, oh, something really dark and bad is gonna happen to this person, or she's gonna have a really devastating backstory, but then something happens and it's like, oh yeah, it could have been really bad, but something happened to save it from being that dark. Nothing saves this one, okay? It is just dark. Am I gonna continue the series? Absolutely. In fact, if my phone was not bricked right now from Amazon, I would be ordering books 2 and 3. Love the FMC. Sarah A. Parker, yes ma'am. Okay, so now that this book is done and it is June 22nd, we still have plenty of time to read 1, maybe 2 more books. So let's spin the wheel again, shall we? And should we add some more books? I think so, because a spin wheel that doesn't have that many options isn't that, you know, interesting. Okay, so now we have 10, a good solid number. Okay, I'm nervous, but let's do this. I'm gonna tap it. Oh my god. What? Okay, Bloodbound it is. Downloading it now, and I'll check back in with you guys later. I'm sorry about this odd, awkward angle, but it is my lunch break and I'm in the office today. Us book girlies just gotta do what we gotta do in order to fit some reading time in. And I got my lunch already. I got Thai fried pepper rice, and I told them to make it hot. I also have spare napkins in case that was a mistake. So I'm gonna eat this while I listen to the audiobook, but I also did bring my Kindle with me today. But I just wanted to give a very early update to Bloodbound. I read the first 2 chapters last night. After reading Sarah A. Parker's writing, it can feel a little jarring switching to another book that has a different type of writing style. Not saying that Bloodbound is bad, it's just noticeably different. The writing feels very simple and straightforward, very easy to read. The first chapter is action-packed. It throws you immediately into a fight scene, which is fun. It starts off with a bang. Chapter 2, I felt like I got a little bit more out of the writing, but you're starting to get the dynamics between several characters and the relationships between the 3 of them. So there is an introduction into our main character's emotional state. The world seems really fun already. Even just having dipped my toe into this, I can already see how this is going to be a really fun read. Oh my god, it's freaking hot. I'm having to film this without AC because then you would only hear the AC. So I'm dying right now. Just wanted to get that reading update. Man, do we have some catching up to do. As you guys saw, I'm on chapter 46 of Bloodbound, aka the last 100 pages, so y'all already know why I'm here. Also, please ignore this big, awkward, imperfect rectangle here. I needed to get some very rough estimates for a little side house project I have going on. I'm sorry if you're a perfectionist and you have to look at this, but I promise everything is gonna be okay when I finally get the project done. But that's a story for another time. The story we need to talk about is Bloodbound. I left you guys in the beginning of the book and I came into this blind, but what I can now tell you is we're following 2 young women, a witch princess, and also another woman called Skylar who has a very incomplete background that gets further discovered throughout the book. But basically these 2 cross paths in a very significant way. There's witches versus dragon riders. Witches have their own types of bonded companions which they're tethered to, called familiars. The story sets you up to be focused all around this duel that has to take place between the heir to the witch throne and the heir to the dragon throne, and they are competing to win the heart. This is a centuries-old covenant that takes place every time there is a new firstborn heir to either of the thrones. Now, why they want the heart, what it does, still a little bit unclear. Now, I have to say, and real quick shout out to bestie Sarah, because she instantly mailed this to me the minute I told her I started reading Bloodbound. So now I have a physical copy. Really happy that I do because she's definitely staying on the shelf. I'm loving it. I'm loving that the female friendship is at the forefront of the plot, with the romance being more of a subplot, which I like because this plot is action-packed. It's full of twists and turns. There's lots of mysteries and theories that you can come up with. So like I said, it's been a lot of fun. But this book has also taught me something about myself as a reader that I didn't know. Typically, I hate when authors do a bait and switch. You know, they set up this plot and it's really interesting, and then at the last minute, when things seem like they're really gonna take a turn, the author's like, well, never mind, because this is actually the plot. And then most of the time in my experience, the plot that was switched out is not as strong or interesting as the initial teased plot. It's like clickbait plot. But I learned that I can actually really enjoy the bait and switch if the switch is better than the original bait, which seems like common sense, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't happen a lot. But this book pulled it off. I'm here for it. And now we're gonna finish this together. I got my coffee. It's got 3 shots in it because it's just that kind of day. I also treated myself to some treats because why not? I'm gonna stop yapping. Let's get to reading. We have made it to the duel. I don't know if I'm ready for this, you know? I'm already sweating. Oh, the anticipation to this fight is brutal. Although, like, I mean, what could happen? You know what I mean? Like, this is book one. Let's just say I'm holding out hope that not all is as it seems. It's not black and white, and there's gonna be something entirely different that happens. But the tension and the emotions are so high. Oh my god, I really didn't think this book was gonna crack me. And I can't even say why I'm crying because it's a huge spoiler. And I definitely thought about this potentially happening, but I just didn't know. It's so good. It got me 5 stars. I just want to hug my best friend now. Listen, if you're gonna do a buddy read with anybody for this book, please let it be your best friend, okay? This is for you and your bestie. Things are clicking together. It's my favorite part of the book. 15 pages left. This is a wild ride, guys. This was amazing. It took me a minute, I'm not gonna lie, but it paid off, and especially for a debut book, impressive. You know what I loved about this was they brought a level of chaos that I haven't experienced since Throne of Glass. It just felt like I was in the middle of a storm. It was very intense. I do feel drained after reading this, but really excited for book 2. For book 1, this answered a lot of questions. It's full of resolutions, which is very surprising because usually you don't get this many answers within a single book. I just love how refreshing the spin was on typical fantasy tropes. It was good. It deserves the hype that it's getting. And now I kind of feel like I want to stare at a wall. And on that note, it is Friday, June 26th, so I technically still have 4 days left in the month. Maybe I could squeeze in another book, but to be honest with you, I think I'm gonna sleep on it. I could use the time to just get ahead and edit this video, which sounds like a good plan to me. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.